Today, we're doing a live ambient drone session using the 1010 Lemondrop on the Synthstrom Deluge. Hello everybody, it's Ryan from Oakland Ghosts once again, and today we're finally doing another song from scratch. Sorta. This kind of falls somewhere in between my new track anatomy thing where we break down songs that I've already written and my songs from scratch where I write a song completely from scratch. I'm not writing this song completely from scratch. I've already written all the parts. However, I haven't arranged it yet and actually built it into a song. I thought today what we could focus on is recording a live performance into the arranger for later polish and later tweaking. This song is very kind of ambient and, soundscapey. Textural, I guess, is a good word. I'm using the Lemondrop for a really cool synth, and then I'm using all my Deluge stuff. So it doesn't really feel like a song that would benefit from my traditional arrangement style where I'm always trying to get to the next part and keep it interesting, right? This is more of a vibe feeling. It's like an abstract painting, right? It's about creating a mood. And so I think the better way to do it is for me to just vibe out and record it and see what we get. However, I am going to record it, like I said, directly to the arranger, which gives us the ability to go back in later, and if I messed up or if I didn't do something I quite like, I can go back in there, I could clean it up, and I still have the overall performance that I could clean up in the arranger view. So if you didn't know how we do that, I'm going to give you just a quick little snippet of the song, just so you could, hear what we're dealing with everything, with all my different parts. And then I'll go in and I'll break down all the tracks so that you could see what I'm using to create it. And then we'll do a live jam where I record it to the arranger, and hopefully it's good and I'm happy with it, and that'll be the song, right? But in order to show that, when I play this little snippet here, I'm going to give you an example of recording it directly to the arranger. As you can see right here, this is my arranger view. There's nothing in there right now. It's empty. So while I play the snippet, I'm going to go ahead and record it to arranger just to give you an example of how that works. It's really super easy to do. I've got as many of the tracks as I want on right now to give you guys a demonstration. So all you do is you hold record and then you hit song. And it's that simple. It'll record it straight to the arranger for you. So here we go. Let's listen to a snippet so you know what we're going to be working with today and looking at. So you hold record, hit song. And then when you want to stop, you just hit record or song, and it'll stop, although as you can see, it keeps playing. So I'm gonna hit there. And now if I go in song mode, you'll see it recorded everything that we had playing. Now if I had switched out different, if I'd changed variations on my MIDI track, it would have changed colors. If I added automation, they'd become white tracks. But it just records everything you do in your live performance straight into the arranger mode. And the power of that is now, if I have a pretty good overall structure, I'll have my whole song laid out, and all I got to do, if I want to go in there and add a fill, or I didn't really like the automation right there, I want to redo that, I could just go back in that individual track and I could clean it up. But the structural integrity of the song I just created is still pretty much there. Super, super, super powerful. I'm going to go ahead and undo that because that's not the song we're recording. But let's, why don't we go through and we'll just kind of break down some of these tracks real quick. I'm going to mute stuff that I'm not using. And we might as well start with the track that pretty much drove this whole idea. So I just got the Lemondrop recently. Really cool, very powerful micro granular synthesizer. You can obviously load your own samples and stuff like that, but I don't think I got much further than, let's see, patch 24 here before I was like, okay, I got to write a song. There's just so many cool sounds in this box. I couldn't resist. I had to get in there, and this one spoke to me for whatever reason. So I made some tweaks. I've done a little thing on the Lemondrop, but you can see it's basically, this is one of the samples. It's got tons of different things you can adjust in here. I have it beat synced. Go back. So there's two samples running. It's a granular synthesizer that's pretty freaking amazing. So all I'm doing here is I have my MIDI out feeding into the MIDI in, and then I just have a line out going into the line in. And I have an audio track right here. That's just my audio track so that so that we can listen to it. It's basically just monitoring. I'm not recording the audio track in. Even when I do this performance, I probably still won't do that, because I think a lot of times what I'll do after I finish the song on the Deluge and I've mixed it, I'll track everything out individually into my DAW, and then I'll remix it and just kind of fine tune it, maybe add a little light EQ, a little light compression. I don't really add that much when I go into my DAW. I try to keep it as true to what I did here, but I think it'll make more sense to just record that track into the DAW directly when I get to that process. So it's not actually recording anything that I'm getting from this when I do this performance here, although it is letting me monitor it and get a sense for how I want to do it. So let's just take a listen to what that MIDI track sounds like real quick. I think it's the only one we got playing anyway, so let's take a listen. It's really weird. You can see all these are all the grains that it's selecting at different times to create as a synth, and it's basically just it's finding a micro section of a sample that's playing to create the synth. And you can see it's pretty varied. I got a lot of stuff going on here, but I just love the sound. It's just kind of industrial and Blade Runner-y or something. I don't know. It's very vibey. And I do have a variation. We'll go to the second one here. And you'll see me doing this when we do the performance, probably. This one's slightly different. And what it allows me to do is so I can control some of the effects that I have going on just by sliding my finger on this little guy. I'm just getting a high thing. You can hear that high part coming in. And there's also some things, I got some stuff over here that really echoes out that I'll do sometimes. Very cool. So yeah, I mean, that's all coming from this little synth. It's just so radical. And let's see what else we got. Let's just kind of work our way down the line. So I have everything organized in such a way, if you see this, these are the same tracks, they're just variations. So this is, this one right here is just kick. Very simple pattern. Here I got some kick and some other stuff going on. What do we got? Oh, this little guy. And this one, I have it set to randomly happen. So you never know when it's going to happen. I got it set at 30% random. So sometimes it'll come on, sometimes it won't. It'll just give us a sense of a little more, I don't know, especially in a textural track like this. Not knowing when it's ever going to hit is nice. Right now it seems to be hitting every single time. So that random isn't doing much, is it? But yeah, it's totally hitting every single time, which is cracking me up right now. Anyway, most of these drum parts that I have in here, I have set to some kind of random. So this one has these guys and that same ratchet as well as the kick. So this is like the complete drum pattern, the most full it ever gets. And these are all set to random too. So all the sampley bits have a randomness to them. You never know what's going to happen. And that'll just make the drum pattern kind of evolve as it goes. You never know what you're going to get, which is good for these kind of songs that are not as structured and are a little more about feeling, just a little something. So, and then I'll leave that one going for now. I put hi-hats on a separate track, which is this one here. I did something really cool with these. So this is actually a synth, as you can see, but all I'm using is the noise. So it's just the noise generator. I'm not using any of the oscillators. And the noise generator is going to random. So it's randomly how hard it's hitting the noise. And then I just have it on every 16th. And you just never know what it's going to hit. So it's basically creating kind of similar to doing the random with the snares and the ratchets on my drum pattern. It's creating an ever evolving hi-hat pattern that's just always changing. And it's really simple. I mean, there's not much going on. I got a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb on there, rolled the cutoff and the resonance a little bit just to get it to sound right in the mix, but that's my hi-hat pattern that's just going to keep changing. All right. That's a fun trick. this is a sample that I only have coming on sometimes that I believe I've LFO synced. Let's take a look. No, I don't know if I did. What did I do to this one? I definitely did some weird stuff to this one. Got a lot of delay, got a reverb. But the idea is it'll just kind of add a little. I think I LFO synced that and then I resampled it and I brought it back in to get it to stretch and fit just right to the song. But that's kind of like a little, like a ride that's just warping out. It's not in stereo right now. When I do the live performance, I'm going to put us in stereo so that we can get the full breadth of what's happening here. All right, next I've got my bass, and this is from Boards of Deluge. I'm not sure which patch, but it's the Roy-G bass, and it's just got such a nice low rumble, as you can hear. In this pattern, it's just a single note. I have a separate pattern that mixes it up later. So this is just gonna add the low growl on stuff, right? Later on, I can switch to this one. So these are just variations that slightly mix things up. Should switch in just a second. Adding to that Blade Runner vibe, right? Pretty cool. These guys are my MIDI channels, which we've already kind of looked at. I'll bring those in a minute. That's what's coming from the Lemondrop. These ones, okay, I'm gonna play this one first. This is another Boards of Deluge patch called Let 'Em Grow. And this is just gonna be kind of my main, a nice bed. And the cool thing about this one is how much room it has for me to play with the filter. So you'll see me playing the filter on this one quite a bit. Again, just a single note. This is really low, but I can open the filter up a lot to really get some sound out of it. Right? Super cool. So I'll be performing that live for sure, because this is just a good way to add some texture to the jam. So keep it low to start. So that was the next thing, that's the next part. And then I've got these guys. I've got two versions of it. One that is comes every fourth bar, one that comes every 2 bars. And this is just a sample I got. And I'm sending this one, I'm LFO syncing it to 1/8 notes. So it's wah, 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 wah. So I've been doing a lot of LFO syncing lately. It's kind of a hacky way to make the delay perfect, make it simulate delay hitting on perfect notes. But you can do fun stuff, like you can also sync the pan to the LFO sync so that it's panning in time too, which you can just do a lot of crazy stuff with it. So that's just breaking up this sample that I had that is what is that from? Something from a tape. It's some kind of tape fragment that I have hanging around. So this is my main beat, right? And then we can add in the Lemondrop on the next one. We'll have that come through. This guy is just an accent on the bow, bow. It's interlude. It's another Boards of Deluge patch. Come through over here. It's pretty quiet. Turn that up a little bit. Let's turn down this guy a little bit. That's the Boards of Deluge patch here. The interlude. It's almost like a piano, but sci-fi. And the only other things I have, I'll just play the mid one. Again, variations, but next one is just kind of a lead line that'll come in here. Another Boards of Deluge patch called BOC5. It's from the BOC5 pack. It's just a texture. It's kind of a counter melody. Everything else is mostly single note, right? Except for that. This is just kind of a counter melody to tie it all together. And I've got a variation that does a harmony on it, which is really fun too. It's just so pretty, right? And this one, again, the cool thing of it, you can hear it does a higher harmony on the end right here, a little high and steady. And sometimes I mostly stay on this one, which doesn't have the high harmony. This is just I can flip to it when I want to, so that we can do the high harmony, just to accent things, makes things a little different. And then the last thing I have, this is kind of a lead line that'll go on top. This is also a Boards of Deluge patch. I'm using a lot of Boards of Deluge on this one from pack 5, just my melody. And that's pretty much it. So, you know, the ones I haven't played are just variations of the same thing. A lot of where they start and where they end, because that's easier to do in a live performance. I'll usually do that in the arranger, but since I'm doing a live performance, I've created a lot of subtracks that just allow me to easily select between where I want to, if I want to start or I want to end, because that little part that goes da da, that part starts kind of in a weird spot on the song. It doesn't start on the 1 or the 4 like you kind of expect. It starts on the 2. So creating these variations just allows me to live cut or start where I want these patterns to start. But that's the whole song. That's really all there is to it. So those are all the parts that I've written. I think the next step is I'm going to just go ahead and perform it live, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that I get a good performance. And yeah, I'm going to record it straight to the arranger in case I don't have a good performance. I mean, I could always do it over, I guess, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. And then I'll record it to the arranger, which is going to allow me the ability to go in there and polish things up later if I need to just kind of clean things up for the final song. So that's really all that's left. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for joining me. I always have this sort of content coming out pretty regularly. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, so you can see what the latest video is. I do lots of Deluge content. This Lemondrop's probably going to be joining the fray more and more frequently because I love this thing. So yeah, let's just do a live jam, and thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the song coming up here. I hope I enjoy it. All right, let's go. I'm going to switch it to stereo, and then I'm just going to go for it.